Meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. Next is the approval of the agenda.
I will move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is approval of claims for payment.
I will move to approve the claims for payment.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we have Lynn Adams with Community Services Monthly Update.
I just kind of put a few things down on paper for you, but I'll just hit on a few of those. The first one has to do with Central Iowa Recovery. And I don't know that any of, well, yeah, Lance, you were here, I think it was, maybe Don was too, but about 3 years ago, we started Central Iowa Recovery, and there was a bunch of counties that went together under 2080. Each county put in $25,000 and started this new entity, basically because we couldn't find another provider that was willing to do the service. So out of that, then we started our intensive psych rehab program, and it's done really well. But we're looking at now, the board has passed a transition plan to go to a private nonprofit status rather than a governmental status. So, and there's some advantages to that. One is that it would, with the managed care coming, it'll make it easier for them to contract with those managed care companies. Also, it would allow them to more easily accept donations and apply for grants as a private nonprofit. And then also it'll remove some liability from the counties, because technically right now as a 2080, we'd only put that 25,000 in, but financially we could have been liable if they would have been short, or there's other liability with having connected to the county. So it will help there. So what will happen is, hopefully in April, I'll be bringing a resolution back to you to approve. And it'll basically saying that you're okay with terminating the 2080. And then we'd like to have in that resolution also that the 25,000 that was originally given, whatever, 3-4 years ago, can stay with them. I mean, they can document that it was basically used for startup, because we had to, it's a Medicaid funded service, but we had to do a lot of training and stuff, so actually we couldn't bill for that first month or so. And so they pretty much spent all that money anyway on startup, so it was used for what it was intended for. So anyway, that'll be a resolution, and like I say, we're, I think Mike Galloway, the attorney that you guys probably know, I mean, I think he's works through ISAC on a lot of things, but he's the one actually that's going to be writing up the articles of incorporation for the new corporation and everything like that. And then there will be a 5-member transitional board that'll work on this, and then hopefully this will all change July 1st.
Who are the board members? Who are they? Who would you be thinking for board members? That 5-person board.
Well, actually right now, I mean, you guys appointed me as your representative, so I'm the president, or I'm the chair right now of that board. So it'll probably be myself, and then I think there's actually a committee that's been working on this, so I think from Hamilton, what's his name? His name escapes me.
That's fine. You're going to be on the board.
Me, and yeah, and then the Hamilton, and then there will be probably John Grush or Tom Foster from that area. They're kind of looking at looking at the region and trying to get representation from the different areas. And that'll basically just be for a few months until we get the new articles written, and then in the articles it'll actually say then what the actual governing board is going to be. And it could be, I don't think it'll any longer be any of us as CPCs or whatever, because one thing is, there could be some conflict of interest if we're sitting on the board and then approving funding for services. So it probably will be some outside people. It could be a few supervisors. So if you guys are interested, let me know. And, I mean, when we get to that point, you can put your names in.
Okay.
And then I wanted to update you on the telehealth, which I think I mentioned it a couple months ago when we met, that our region had approved region-wide offering telehealth to all the jails and all the hospitals. And that's part of we're working on crisis services and trying to improve those services. So we did schedule with the sheriff and the jail administrator, somebody from Integrated Telehealth Partners is the company that we're working with. So they're going to come and present to them, and then we're also going to meet with the hospital. And the region is going to pay, there's a monthly fee affiliated with this. And what we have to do first is figure out how many people are going to use it, how many clients, before they can actually come up with the exact fee. But the region would pay that, but it would only be, like, the only investment from the county or through the sheriff would be like for a laptop or something that you can Skype or, interact with, because this psychiatrist is going to be on, it's going to be telehealth. So, and then just offer, have a place where they can do it in private, a room. And then I suppose staff to be there with them while they're doing it. But it's pretty, I think it's a benefit to the hospital and to the county at very low cost. And it might help, even with the hospital, even though we have the behavioral health unit, which serves, they have a psychiatrist there, but a lot of the times people come to the ER, it's either after hours, weekends, whatever, and they would basically be available 24 hours a day, and they will guarantee that within, I think it's 2 hours, they would have someone available to do the telehealth, to do the assessment with some of those people, and that could mean that then they wouldn't have to go on to be hospitalized, because the psychiatrist could say, no, I think, he could prescribe some med and say, go home or whatever, and set up an appointment for the next day and not have to take them on to the hospital. So hopefully that'll work out. Just a couple other things I wanted to mention. Probably the biggest provider in our region, or one of the biggest, is Story County Community Life, and that's been a county-owned agency for a long time. And Ron's on the board, and he's heard a lot about how over the last several years they realized how much that was costing the county. So they started, and it's been like a year-long process of looking at other providers that could take that over. And so now Optime will be taking that over as of May 1st. So that's a benefit to the region financially, because they won't have to subsidize it anymore. And they're also going to expand services, so it's kind of a win-win situation. And then just a little update on the managed care that I talked about before. There were 17 companies that have said that they plan to bid on that state RFP to manage Medicaid. I think it's maybe, I don't remember exactly, I think it's around May 1st when they have to have their actual proposals in. And then they wouldn't actually award the companies, they're only going to pick 2 to 4 companies, and that won't happen until like August 1st. So, but there are a lot of companies interested. Like yesterday, we had a meeting with one of them that's out of Florida, and they do this in several different states. But they did indicate that they would be willing to work with us, like with our case management, to subcontract with us to do the service. We'd have to look at that and see if it's feasible, if it's financially feasible, because managed care primarily looks at, their main goal is to cut costs, because that's why the state's hiring them, is because they're because of the Medicaid costs. So as long as it would be financially feasible, then that might be an option for us to still be able to provide the service, but do it under subcontract. And then the last thing I had on there, just to let you know that there's a moratorium. This is through General Assistance, but there's a moratorium on the people's during the winter they can't have their heat shut off, and that ends April 1st. So we're just seeing a lot of people come in. It seems like even more this year than previous years that have bills of $1,000, $1,500 and are going to be shut off. And so we're trying to work with some of them. We always refer them like through MICA first to try to get everything we can through other ways, but there'll be some bills coming through for those families probably within the next few weeks. So it's, we can only do up to, I think we raised it to, what, $400, I think, or $350, whatever, it's in our policy. So a lot of times we can't even, if we offer $350 and their bill's $1,700 and they can't come up with the rest, we don't even go ahead and do that because we aren't gonna just put money into that if it's not gonna solve the problem anyway. But sometimes between Micah and us, and sometimes they can scrape up a little bit of their own money, and then they can try to get a new payment plan through Alliance, and, they can make it work, so.
I was at a Circle of Life meeting, and that's what Micah, the Micah people had said too. They were talking about how many more people were coming in for utility assistance than in past years, so. Is a problem.
Oh, thank you. Anybody got any other questions for Lynn?
Thanks.
Well, I will go ahead and move to the appointment of the HIPAA privacy and security officers.
I'll make a motion to appoint Jessica Lara as the privacy officer and Micah Cutler, the security officer for HIPAA.
And I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Looks like they're in favor. They're doing the fist bump back there. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is the auditor's monthly report.
I'll make a motion to approve the auditor's monthly report.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is a change of status in Sheriff's Office. I have two.
I'll make a motion to approve the change of status. It's a discharge from a permanent part-time position for Heather Lampers. And also a hire for Leland Mosch as a permanent part-time position.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to do a discharge and a hire. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is application for liquor licenses to Radcliffe Friendly Fairways and Eagle City Winery. And at this time, Eagle City Winery has not got their gram insurance.
Yep.
So that will have to be tabled.
So I'll make a motion to table the Eagle City Winery liquor license application until they get their dram insurance approved.
And I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is Radcliffe Friendly Fairways.
I'll make a motion to approve the Radcliffe Friendly Fairways Golf Course liquor license.
And I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is a request for a water quality monitor to be put on R Avenue Bridge over the South Fork River. We had an email sent to us by a Caroline Davis, or sent to the engineer who brought it to us.
They didn't really state their purpose. The total purpose on that, I guess
So, yeah, until we do our research and find out what they're wanting to use the data for, maybe let's table it till next week.
Okay.
Sounds
Is that a
good to me.
motion? I need a motion.
I'm making that as a motion.
All right, I'll
Sorry.
second it.
I so
Been moved and seconded to motion this.
Word.
Who's gonna be do you want to contact her? You want me to contact her, or?
The discussion, I'll just go into the discussion right away. Is the discussion, do you want Daryl to be the contact person on this since she's the one that contacted him?
Yeah, one of us had to. I'm not.
Okay, I mean, what kind of, you want to direct me what kind of questions to ask? I mean, she kind of said what water quality monitoring network.
What's the purpose?
Okay,
Well, just what they're collecting the data for.
They show us a picture
Okay.
of what they want to do, but what are they?
There's already a monitor there, right?
there's a stream gauge there to get us our flood levels.
Gotcha.
And
So
flow.
that's not a monitor, so.
Yeah, but this is a water quality monitor, so I don't know if that's doing nitrates or the silt or what's, you know.
What are we researching?
Okay, yeah,
Just more information. I invite him
You
to
bet.
come down and
You
ask. I mean, to come to the meeting and ask the question.
okay.
Or if she can just provide it over the phone too. I mean, either way.
Sure,
I'd
sure.
be happy with either way, but.
Yeah, and I'm sure if they're doing research, I'm sure they have an initial proposal paper, of what they, I don't know how all that research goes. I'm kind of looking around for help on the
You're right,
terminology. Yeah,
they'll give us an outline of why they're doing the research, what they're recording their data,
Yep.
what they're gathering their data for,
okay.
so.
Let's see if we can't get that.
So it's been moved and tabled till next week's agenda. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, utility permit, secondary roads.
No utility permits. Hauling quite a bit of gravel still, catching up on some bad spots. And
New ones keep popping up.
what's that?
New ones keep popping up.
Yeah. Also, there was a scare the other day, on Monday, for about an hour and a half, where everybody thought D20 was closed. The sign company came a week early by accident
Oh.
and closed it for an hour and a half. So those signs are down. They'll be put back up next Monday. But the big spray truck that we have, the guys fabricated a boom on there, so right now we're working on getting the roads in good shape up around there where we think a lot of the traffic will go, not on the detour, but on the gravel roads, and then we'll start spraying our own chloride on those, and looking at doing the intersections, and then any residents that we feel is affected. I mean, not by one extra car, but, within the reason of what the DNR standards of fugitive dust are, so we hope to stay on top of that.
Any other questions? No utility permits?
No,
Next, I'll go to other business. Hearing none, I'll ask for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.